Gather, veterans. It's time to join the fight. The long war begins.
This is The Long War. I'm Rob Bear, and joining me once again are my partners in crime, Kenny Boucher and Wyatt Turk. What's up, guys?
Yo, dog, great to be here.
Yeah, what's up?
It's exciting times out there. What was it, Wyatt, you used to say, sailing the salty seas?
Yeah, dude.
Lots of salty sea captains out there.
It's, dude, it's straight poison on Facebook. I just can't right now with it.
No, absolutely, guys. Look, let's just hit a quick table of contents. This is going to be a special episode if you're listening to this in the car on the way to, like a soccer game this Saturday or whatever. You might have noticed that you didn't hear the show at your normal time. We're breaking it up and breaking the recording up over a couple of days so we can make sure we get all the new points drops, which, is unfortunately timed with our Thursday recording. So we're going to move directly into our Would You Rather and then into our news segment.
Basically, this is
our Peabody Award-winning co-host, Wyatt Turk, is feeling a little sick today. So he's going to do his Would You Rather, and he's going to kind of vanish until tomorrow. So let me just turn it over to Wyatt and touch nothing but the lamp.
Would you rather have no hair on the top of your head or have no eyebrows?
Like zero hair, top of head. Where does this? Do I still like? Is it? We're talking.
You can grow a beard.
How's it look, though?
How high does the beard go? Big question. Above the ear, below the ear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like to the where a normal one.
You're
would
as
be
a beard,
kind
as a person with a beard. Show me on your beard.
like the whatever this part is.
Okay.
Like where your ear connects to your
The
head.
ear line.
Yeah.
The eye line. The ear line.
Got
Yeah.
it. All right.
But
No
wait,
hair on
how's
the top of my head. Clean cut right there. Stops at the ear line. Or no eyebrows. I mean, like the obvious choice is no hair on your head. No hair in your eyebrows makes you look like a serial killer. But as a white guy with tattoos, no hair on my head makes me look like something else. Fuck. Can't get tattoos on your head? Oh, that makes it worse. Never mind.
Yeah. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I feel like everybody looks
Sure,
at your
dude.
face.
Can I wear a hat to obscure my bald head?
Yeah, I feel like that's not gaming the system. How's that?
I mean, the fact is that I'm bald forever and everyone's going to know.
Sometimes wearing a hat too much makes you bald, bro.
Yeah, the thing is, I'm just not like a hat guy. Bonet and some other people in Los Angeles have proved to me that I was wrong about how cool I thought I looked in a fedora.
That's not true.
It has been, look.
You're just you gotta go even bigger, like wider brim.
That's
cowboy.
You
hat.
made, dude,
That's
you
what I
made
said.
you made an empire with that fedora. How many of those people made empires?
That's a good fucking point, Rob. I'm back on the fedora train. I choose bald. Bald and a fedora.
I think I could probably pull off bald. I'd still look. People would be like, "Why'd you lose all your hair so young?"
I mean, I
I'm
can't
like,
even see
yeah,
your eyebrows. They're basically invisible anyway with your complexion.
exactly.
So might as well just take them off. Like,
No.
Your eyebrows are translucent, dude.
No,
Now he's
I
like
have
looking at his
eyebrows.
face in the camera. Sorry, I
you
didn't mean
can
to
see
make
my
you insecure.
eyebrows. I am people.
Yeah, lizards don't have eyebrows, but he's grown attached to his skin suit eyebrows. He likes the added expression they add to him, to his lizard reptilian facial features.
Yeah, how are you supposed to know how I'm feeling if I don't have eyebrows, bro?
Can you paint eyebrows on if you get rid of the eyebrows?
You can tattoo
That's
them
more
on.
ludicrous. Like, I mean, Rob would look like powder. 100%.
That dude have powers, bro.
Yeah, damn, our heads would be so shiny though, because it's like straight no hair. Damn. But yeah, someone in chat was like, "Get to powder that dome." I was like,
Well,
Yep.
yeah.
You
But
have a little
still,
spray of matte varnish before the stream.
"Ooh, I like that tech." Yeah, I could do a
Yeah.
whole new bunch of like TikTok videos about like makeup, but it basically just be about my bald head.
I like it.
You could just use this Krylon matte finish right here, guys. Definitely fine to use on your pores, as far as I can tell.
I think you found a new calling.
Make sure to exfoliate.
You gotta exfoliate.
Your
Holy
simple
cow.
green for that. Nah, I'd be bad at this. So yeah, I
When
choose
you
bald
walk
head
through it.
fedora. Nailed it. Rob, I think you're messing up if you don't choose eyebrows, but it's up to you, man. It's your life.
Nah, man. I do bald. I have a weird like Billy Corrigan shaped dome piece though. It's not quite round.
Billy Corgan, that's a good reference.
I actually shaved my head when I turned it's a few years back, like 3 or 4 when I
What
turned
year?
25.
How old did you turn? I like how he stopped saying how old he turned and he went to a few years back.
Yeah. I did
1927?
yeah, something like that. I think it was 23, but yeah, I shaved my head. It was pretty wild. It's not round.
I don't think anyone's head's round, dude.
No, people's heads are round.
Well, there you have it. Thank you, Wyatt. That's a good would you rather. I'll see you tomorrow morning for our meat and potatoes segment.
Yep. All right. See you later.
And we will continue pushing forward with T-Rex slaughter news.
This is Rob from the past talking to Kenny from the future.
No, like
Kenny
I'm still
in the
here with you,
future.
dog. Like, oh,
No, you're in the future, bro.
I'm in the future. Got it.
Yeah, it's Kenny from the future. So yeah, it's been a wild week since Leviathan went on pre-order, huh? Did you get yours? Did you lock yours in?
No.
Did you wait in the queue?
No. My game store, I didn't even call my game store. I just assumed that however much allotment they got was kind of already spoken for.
It's probably good.
So rather than going there and like try to make someone feel guilty or some shit, I just like, next time I'm there, I'll see if they have it. But I'm absolutely sticking to my guns. Like I'm supporting like the local trade, man. I don't like the box as much as I want it. I'll get it from the locals.
I think always vote with the hobby dollars, whatever's important to you. But I think definitely supporting game stores is if you like your local game stores.
I kind of think that local game stores are important to everyone.
It really is, because it's not getting any easier for them. And this year is going to be very telling for a lot of stores, because we'll go right into the news. So Embracer Group, you may or may not know, you probably heard that name thrown around a lot lately, but Embracer Group announced layoffs and studio closures. And why that is important for the game space is because they own Asmodee and Miniature Market and Dark Horse Comics and, well, a lot of other video game companies and a lot of other things. But they haven't said where the layoffs are coming. They said they're going to look at bad performing studios and earning companies, and they're going to downsize and they're going to lay off staff. So potentially we could see some issues in the game space. If you're your local game store, like if they're a comic book store, Dark Horse Comics, a big thing. It might be some issues there. If you buy from Miniature Market, that could be a problem because they own Miniature Market now. Star Wars Legion, Star Wars Shatterpoint, Marvel Crisis Protocol. All of these things could be affected. It's cool mini or not. Conquest Last Wrath, or Wrath of Kings, or Argument of Kings, whatever it's called. Anything that's distributed by Asmodee could be a problem. So we don't know yet. They have 17,000 employees, they said, or they interact with 17,000 people. It was a very weird how they worded it.
It sounds a lot like because we know they've like aggressively expanded they're like what, like liquid capital investment, like investors.
They took a lot of money from Saudi investments too.
Yeah.
They are liquid, a lot of money. They also own the rights to Lord of the Rings.
So suddenly, yeah. So when they say like we're going to cut, people out of like the lower performing, like that kind of makes me feel like if their portfolio is big enough that there's 17,000.
That's a lot of people.
Contractors, employees, whatever. Kind of feel like probably like the gaming stuff is the lowest end of that performance.
It might not be because they own a lot of video game studios too. They own Nordic. It's hard to say where the cuts are going to come, but the cuts are coming. And there's a lot of people, macroeconomics time. While this month is the summer blockbuster season for game stores, and game stores are poised to do very well this month, it is going to be very different come this September. And I think we're going to lose a lot of businesses, a lot of game stores this September. I think a lot of folks are going to have to pivot to the subscription model. There's even this thing now where, there's a lot of businesses out there passing the credit card fees on to people. There's a lot of businesses in town that don't even take credit cards. You got to pay cash. That's not unheard of in 2023 because an extra 3%, 4% on top for a lot of businesses is a game changer right now. So I think with all this direct to consumer stuff and the Games Workshop plays that we all know, let's not beat around the bush. Games Workshop fucks over game stores. They have built a moat that consists of their own Warhammer stores. And the moat was created as a term by Warren Buffett, where basically you protect your neck and you make it so that consumers have to go through you. And you could even make the argument, and I have heard the argument made, that when game stores go out of business because of the shenanigans Games Workshop pulls, that they don't care. Because where are those customers going to go? They're going to go directly to Games Workshop. They're not going to stop playing. They're still going to buy their shit. And they're either going to buy it from the next store in the same town, or they're going to buy it from Games Workshop. Mm-hmm. So in essence, Games Workshop doesn't give a fuck, guys. Like straight up.
Yeah, we've been saying that for years. I think it's important to delineate. GW is a collection of people. And not all of those people are in charge. And there's definitely people in that board who feel exactly as we feel, which is local game stores are where the community comes from. And that's how we continue to make communities. And that's how we continuously expose people to this over and over again in new exciting ways. We have to, it would be it would be worse in the long run to try to create this moat and force them to come here exclusively for the extra profit. There's somebody in there saying that because it's a fact, but that's not what obviously makes it to the final decision making. So, like that's why I like to say that every now and then. It's like I don't like to put this this kind of facelessness to like the corporation, where it's like there's someone in charge, and and there's a bunch of some people who make some votes. I know there's some smart people on that fucking board.
Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff going on out there, and I think there's going to be some rough times ahead for the hobby in general. But I just want to put it out there that hey, shit's going to get rough for everybody. So please vote with your hobby dollars. If you enjoy your local game store, it may be even more important to spend your hobby dollars there going forward. So speaking of Asmodee, so Shatterpoint has some expansions coming out. They just announced the next lineup through September. So there's plenty coming out for Star Wars Shatterpoint. I've been playing a decent amount of it. I think it's a great game. Again, if you don't have any experience with FFG or AMG games, you might be a little bit behind on the learning curve, but definitely give it more of a chance than you normally would, because I think it is definitely a good game and worth checking out. I spoke to somebody that runs a major gaming manufacturer, and and I was like, hey, you played it? And he's like, yeah, we like it here, but there's only one other guy here that plays it, so I guess it's 10th edition 40k for all us. And I was like, we're not going to get anywhere as a hobby in general, as a tabletop hobby, if everybody just kind of defaults to Warhammer all the time. So you got to be brave. Kenny says it. Be brave. Be brave to try something new. It's definitely worth checking out. More than worth it, in my opinion. Right. Games Workshop announced some new regiments and renown boxes for Age of Sigmar. If you're into Sigmar, obviously you're going to want to pick up probably one of these 4 boxes because they're for the main factions out there. Unfortunately, the new characters are paywalled in there, but it's nothing we haven't seen before from Games Workshop, right? So there's that, but they are coming out. The value is going to be a little wonky on them because they're just not a whole lot of value on these things, unfortunately. And probably, I would say probably even more of a tell is the fact that they just announced that the General's Handbook is going to last for the next year. And I think if I had to guess, and this is just my gluten-free gut check, if I had to guess, I would say, Games Workshop has realized that Sigmar isn't quite doing as well as they think it is. They're going to try to do something with Old World. We don't know what. There isn't a starter coming out for it. So I think that when you start looking at the facts, like we know that the AOS team helped design Horus Heresy. We know that there's a lot of elements from Age of Sigmar in the new 40K as well. If I had to guess, I would say that not only is Games Workshop afraid of perhaps splitting dollars from Sigmar and Old World, but also I would say that there has been a bit of a brain drain, so to speak, from GW as far as like the studio and stuff like that when it comes to the Sigmar stuff. So I think Sigmar's still in a good place, and they're still going to come out with the balanced data sheets. But I think it's a bit of a tell. If we were playing Games Workshop poker here, and they're like, "I got the General's Handbook, but it's only out for another year. We're not doing 6 months. We're doing a year." And I would be like, "Ooh, that's a tell. Something's wrong with you. Something's wrong with you over there." And that's how I look at it, right? When I see stuff like that. So maybe there's something coming out. Maybe Old World's going to be super dope. I don't know. But it's definitely something to notice on the Age of Sigmar side of things. I got a lot of feedback from stores all over the globe over the weekend. Now, I woke up super early to check on the pre-orders in the UK, and UK didn't sell out for a very long time as far as Leviathan goes. New Zealand also didn't sell out it took a while to sell out. It took a while in Australia to sell out. I got people checking in. I got retailers checking in all over Australia, mad at some other retailer that apparently got a bunch of copies and they're not even a real store allegedly. And I looked into it and I'm like, dude, I get it, but like, I don't even know if GW cares at this point. They're like, how many copies you want, right? There's a retailer in New Jersey that pre-sold 600 copies. You're telling me stores here in the States can only get 3, and you got some retailer in New Jersey selling, like on eBay, you can check their account. They're selling multiple hundreds of copies already on eBay. Like, this stuff hasn't even shipped out yet. There's no guarantee. You got the director of global events for Games Workshop saying, bullying stores for even talking about pre-ordering. And then Grant
was bullying stores for pre-ordering.
Oh, you didn't see that? I got the screenshots, dog. I got the receipts.
Bro.
Oh, and he's super pissed. And you know how he does with his little Sith mind powers? Like he gets his little super followers to like do this thing where they get all butthurt.
You mean where they will come after us and like call us pedophiles and chat and stuff?
Yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah, like where he like gets his little crew together to fucking attack us on live streams and stuff.
Yeah, stuff like that. That's all right. It's all in the dossier.
It's not slander or libel, guys. That's a literal fact that happened.
That is a literal fact. You can look it up. So anyways, yeah, there's a lot of that going around. So I think overall, a lot of people, the good thing is that the queue seemed to work. A lot of people that wanted to order it direct from GW were able to do that. However, a lot of people that wanted to get it from the local game store were not. And there's a reason for that. And I think we all know. I'm just calling a spade. But on the other side of things, also, I had a bunch of folks checking in from the UK about some game store there that got a bunch of copies, and I know who they are. And apparently they have a background of sexual assault, And you know what? I tried looking into it, but in the UK, it's a lot different. There's no list. You have to go to the you have to go to the cops, and you have to say, hey, has so-and-so ever been arrested for this thing? And they're like, yeah, why do you want to know? And then you have to tell them why you want to know. And I'm like, that seems pretty stupid. Like, if you've been arrested for sexual assault, you need to be on a list, and you definitely don't need to be owning a game store. Like, that's really big and does a lot of business, supposedly. Like, that's kind of fucked up. I'm just going to say. I'm not going to say who it is. I looked into it, and I'm like, this is really mad. Anyways, so there was a lot of stuff going on last weekend. People are super butthurt about Leviathan, and the knives
so
are out.
Hold on. You should drop so much on me. It's like, so some big UK game store owner is like a fucking sex offender?
If you do a lot of Google foo, it looks that way, yes.
Okay.
As presented to me, but unfortunately there is not a list. There is not like, hey, can I look up this dude's name on a list like I can here in the States? And you can't.
Got it. According to, I see what you're saying.
It's pretty stupid.
Yeah, that's some fucking scandalous shit out here. I didn't realize all this shit was going on.
Yeah. Like people got knives out. Like this weekend was wild. Anyways, I did want to talk about the fact that we are still, and I'm sure you're going to hear this, and by the time you hear this, points have dropped, and we know more about the General's Handbook, or chapter approved rather, for 40k, and the tournament scene and the preview. Remember, that is not going to be free, y'all. That is going to be an additional charge. You are going to have to buy that book. It remains to be seen if it's going to be an every 6-month thing or a 1-year thing like the Journal's Handbook is for Sigmar. However, we are still in preview mode. It is very apparent that Games Workshop has made a lot of typos on these index cards that we're seeing. Some stuff might be deliberate. Some stuff might actually be on purpose. But I want to remind everybody that 3 years ago, when 9th edition came out, we had a 20-page free downloadable core rulebook. And very promptly on day one, we got a 37-page FAQ for a 20 pages of core rules. Now, in 2023, we have a 60-page core rulebook. So how many page FAQ do you think we're going to get on day one that will address, hopefully, these index card issues, but also maybe other things too that we haven't even thought of? Like, we are still in preview mode. It is so toxic to even go on Facebook, at least on my feed, to even try to see anything.
Yeah, no, your point is that it's a preview. We're still not there yet.
We are not there. We're not even close to the finish line. We got a week to go.
No, the thing is, they're breaking it. Look, guys, obviously GW could, in the past, before the modern era, a new edition, would have been like a front page banner on fucking gamesworkshop.com. That's it. We wouldn't not like it is today, with the fucking social media drip. Everything all at once packaged out to market, here we go. And then despite how good or bad things were, you lived with how good or bad they were for fucking sometimes in extreme examples, which is literally a fact, 10 years.
I mean, Orcs didn't get a codex for 7 years at one point.
Dark Eldar.
Yeah, so, oh gosh, Dark Eldar.
So
RIP.
Now, with the advent of how things work, social media and everything, and also how we've moved forward as in game theory, what they're gonna do is they're going to create as much hype as possible,
right,
by dragging out and giving us little by little. Right? It's annoying to some, exciting to others, but that's one of the reasons why points and stuff are gonna be one of the last things. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we're all waiting for that. And so we got to keep consuming. But also, even though that's annoying, it does give them a kind of like limited windows to do things like this FAQ that Rob's talking about. And if they drop it, just the Space Marine Index on this day, the whole internet explodes about it for a week or a day, 24 hours. Literally, you can start to see the problems in real time as you get closer and closer to the points deadline. And then finally the actual release deadline.
We put out a really, what I feel like is a really good editorial on playtesting, just in general. And it literally, to playtest each faction, just minimum 1v1 against each other faction, I think it was something like 2,000 hours.
No, yeah.
Like if you just,
it would take a room of, I would take 23 full-time employees, roughly 6 weeks to accurately playtest one faction.
Which they just simply don't have.
No, that's impossible. Think about it. 23 full-time employees, 6 weeks. That's the only thing they're doing, 40 hours a week, to playtest one faction.
I know.
There's 23 of them, right?
I think they said something. There was going to be 26 or 28 sets of data cards.
So it would take 28 full-time employees. Yep. Like 7 or 8 weeks.
Right. It's wild. And then something that people don't talk about a lot of times too, or even realize, and I think that it took me a while to even realize this, there's departments within Games Workshop, right? You got the studio, you got events, you got Warhammer community, you got the warehouse, the fulfillment, warehouse/fulfillment. There's not a lot of talking between these groups. And a lot of times, some of these groups hate the other groups, like specific people. And I'm not saying that's the case. I'm just saying.
Think of every job you've ever had, guys.
Yeah, it's like
Think about different groups and departments in every job you ever fucking had, guys.
And remember that Games Workshop hires based on your cover letter, your fucking cover letter. They just want to make sure you're going to fit in this box. Mm-hmm. They don't care how you like interact with each other. They don't like. That's just like the secondary.
What's the conclusion of this? Is just back to the points and the FAQ and everything. Like they don't get along. So is that why it's even worse?
So like, unless you have an internal play team, which we know kind of isn't the case. And we know that they rely on external play testers, which are controlled by a different person that may not get along with another whole department. That gets a little dicey. That gets a little dicey.
Yeah. And so I think a lot of people, like you said, it's like it's preview mode.
It's preview mode, straight up.
The way they've been handling the game system since 8th dropped has been getting tighter and cleaner and stronger than it has been in the entire fucking time I'm playing this game. We are living in the world now where we don't have to wait 7 years for something not to suck anymore. Or 7 years for something to not be OP anymore. What we're seeing is they've already fixed some things. They've already saw what the community was saying. This is kind of their plan now. Like they listen to when people are saying enough things, especially right now in an index drop. Yep. Points are going to fluctuate, guys. That's why they're going to be on a separate spreadsheet. Points are going to be changed and tweaked the most. And the data cards are going to be tweaked the least, right now at least. So that's one of the major reasons there's no points on these things. Like that'd be they expect to have to move points up and down as things get FAQ'd, fixed, rebalanced, things like that. And they're going to do it in a series of hot fixes over the next 6 months. And that's how we get the most streamlined, accurate ball of shit. Now, of course, what that means to somebody who doesn't have a time investment in this hobby is like, you might get left behind. But right now, we're all starting at zero. So we're all equally invested right now. If if you're interested in moving forward in this hobby and getting some models on the table and playing, this is the literal best time to start right now because it's not that hard to kind of keep up with what matters to you. If Blood Angels matter to you right now and the core rulebook matters to you right now, there's the only two things that you need to actually care about. You don't need to actually know what the new Eldar hotfix is. You can play Blood Angels accurately and cleanly without that knowledge. Like just move forward and know your shit. This is the best time. I think it's amazing, and I'm fully expecting 1,000 FAQs over the next few weeks and points to fluctuate wildly. I'm expecting them to say things and pull back on things. I'm expecting like all sorts of fucking walkbacks.
And I mean, there's some good and bad to that. Like, but it's good that they're so responsive. I mean, 9th edition for what it was, it got bloated fast, but then it started to get reeled back in with the balanced data slates. And, I think, that's definitely a testament to the studio side of things, because they did a great job with it. And I feel like 40K was in a really good spot there, here towards the end of the edition. Right. So I think overall we're going to be in a good place, and everybody just, hey, take a chill pill. Mm-hmm. It's going to be okay. Like, we get that you're very passionate about X, Y, and Z, but we do not have the final product yet. So it would definitely, and I've seen a lot of this, talk about it on GW socials, because that's what they monitor directly, right? If you get if you're the social media guy and you get a bunch of the same people saying the same, or a bunch of people saying the same things, that goes up the chain 100%, right? So email them, like, do something. But bitching about it on Facebook in all these groups and things and saying the same things over and over and over doesn't really help anybody, I don't feel like.
I mean, maybe it makes them feel good. I don't know.
I mean, I get that it makes them feel good.
But look, if it makes you feel good, like I'm not like, fine. But like, does it really make you feel good to be that outraged and that disappointed?
I would say it gets your blood pressure up, and just like, it's bad for you overall.
Yeah, I do a lot of things that are bad for me. So like, I'm not one to judge motherfuckers to do things that are bad for me.
Right, I get it. I probably drink too much.
Yeah.
But like,
you definitely drink too much, Doug.
I don't. Like, it's okay if I say
it. I'm sorry. I apologize. No, but look, we've been rehashing this week after week. All Rob is trying to say, guys, it's like, just have fun, man. Like, remember why you love this game.
Yeah,
you love,
like, dude.
You love the hobby, and remember, most of the hobby is hobbying, and only the smallest percentage of this wargaming journey you're on as a 40K player is actually putting models on the table and rolling dice.
Right. It really is.
So what you need to do to not get left behind is keep up with the FAQs as they drop and reference to what you want to play. Don't get struck by project paralysis. Pick something and start it. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Don't try to follow it through as best you can.
Don't waffle on this, bro. You're looking at you're like, do I do Ultramarines or Black Templars or Blood Angels? Dog, the first one. Just do the first one you said. It doesn't matter. Stop getting paralyzed. Okay? Pull the trigger. Start it now. Because you know what? You're going to be fucking needing to keep up with the FAQs, the point changes, and just do it right there. Build your core out from there. Okay? Just pick your favorite shit. Just go for it. Okay? Once you have 2,000 points and you're playing some games and you're actually knowledgeable about like the constant FAQs and the constant point changes, now you can make some informed purchasing decisions on how to enhance your tabletop experience. Okay? That's how I handle it. And that's the product I sell people in my classes and how I teach people how to paint. It's literally just, you want to have as much fun at this as me? That's how I do it. Nothing makes me sad. I have fun 100% of the time when I'm engaged in this hobby. Because when they tell me that my wolfen don't work anymore, I'm like, cool. Like, honestly, like, I had a lot of fun making these models, building them, painting them, fantasizing about them, putting them on my shelf and looking at them and shit. And then I went and I played like 5 games with them and I won all 5 games. That was fucking tight. I already got like 275 hours entertainment value out of them.
I think, if we talked about this on the past, I think we as a community put too much emphasis sometimes on winning, and also, which has led to a lot of players, doing things that sometimes on, recordings, on live video, that maybe they regret later. Right. I think, and I heard it today. I was at a game store and some dude's like, well, they were playing a game of Star Wars Legion. And the dude was like, oh, I'm better at 40K. I'll dumpster you at 40K. And I was like, I literally was like, why do you got to dumpster him? Why don't you just play him? Like you played him at Legion. He should play you at 40K. Like, it's all good. Let's just have fun.
The issue isn't that people are trying to win or like whatever. The issue is motherfuckers aren't playing the game, Rob. So I'd say the most common symptom of this hobby right now is project paralysis. Your hobby has become learning about your hobby and not doing your hobby.
Well, I think I'm gonna hot take this shit. Like, this is a problem with content creation, and I've been talking to a lot of people locally. When you get the people on YouTube and like, oh, terrain is overpowered, it's all broken, and then like, oh, wolfids suck. Then that's all you hear from people. Imagine you're a game store owner, and somebody comes in your store, and he's like, hey, can I interest you in the new 40k? No, my wolfids suck now. Well, why do they suck? Well, because I heard it on YouTube. Well,
they got more than that because they're going to remember the talking point. But I mean, that's to my point, right? Like, your hobby has stopped being a hobby. Your hobby has become learning and digesting information about the hobby. Doesn't matter if it's like accurate or good information. When you get that deep into it, you're not pulling the trigger on anything, right? You're not actually doing the hobby. I have so many students who fall victim to this. Like, bro, I'm over here having a blast, dog. None of this shit affects me, dog. I play Blood Angels first off, guys. They got
you have dreadnoughts.
If you want to compare like chapters, like we got fucked too. If you want to say 9th edition is what we're gonna compare 10th edition to, which is insane because it doesn't exist. It's only 10th. But like we lost like a lot of things, man. But I'm like I didn't even look at that shit. I don't care. Like what I care about is fucking the current project I'm working on. You know what I didn't do? I didn't get paralyzed. I was like, 10th edition is coming out. I hope I can play 12 dreadnoughts. I just
start nugging out some.
I literally was like, let's see if we can do 12 dreadnoughts. And the whole time, okay, I'm like, they might get legends. I didn't stop for even 1 second, get paralyzed. I didn't make one excuse that was like, well, we should wait to see if they're legends before I do this. I'm like, no, I'm going to do this because I enjoy this hobby. And I'm going to gamble that they're not legends because wouldn't it be cool if day 1, 10th edition, I have 12 dreadnoughts? I'll take that risk. And guess what? You know what the side effect of that risk was, Rob? 212 hours of entertainment. That's rough.
Like you had a lot of fun.
That's rough math. Rough math is 212 hours of building, painting, and scheming on those dreadnoughts. I kind of did a math breakdown because I did all 12, right?
Mm-hmm.
So kind of feel like that is an insane amount of fucking entertainment value. Like, so if GW says you can't play into those dreadnoughts, they're legends and you can't play them in tournaments, like, I mean, like, god damn it. That sucked because, I mean, I guess I didn't have any fun for fucking those 212 hours. You know what I mean? Like, no, dude, get on this side of the fucking line. It's way more fun, guys. Pull the trigger. Don't let your hobby become digesting information about this hobby.
Yeah. And it's easy to do because not everybody is in a place in life where they're able to still hobby. Like whether it's, new edition, whether it's, job, time, whatever. I get it. So staying engaged sometimes is good. And there's channels for that. There's content out there for that. But the toxic poison shit out there that's very easy to see because in a lot of cases, it's the folks that don't get the stuff from Games Workshop, right? And it's very easy to spot on YouTube for sure, right? And I mean, we don't get spiky bits. We don't get shit from GW. I've never gotten shit from GW. Just the fact that I can still talk about the things because I know way more about GW, about the people that work there. And I have I feel like relevant opinions about them. And I can bring the news and help, the hobby in general, help all these game stores and help folks make an informed decision, build communities, be a hobby educator like we do. And that's very important to me to not have to be like, oh, I got this stuff and I painted it up and here it is. And there's something for that. And I'm not mad at content creators for it because they're trying to feed themselves their families and maybe, get a discount on their hobby and better themselves. So you can't get mad at people for trying to better themselves. But on the opposite coin of that, or the opposite side of that, there's a lot of toxicity out there in the hobby. And I think if you just remember the stuff Kenny said and stay positive. We don't have the final product yet. Hell, just like Kenny said as well, we might not have the final product for 6 months, but the final product or the product is already looking good, big picture wise, right?
Yeah. Like a lot of people, I notice they make excuses for themselves not to pull the trigger. Whether it's waiting on points, whether it's waiting on FAQs, whether it's waiting on this, waiting on that. Bro, take a look at your fucking pile of shame and like, how long have you been making those excuses? Like, where's your army? You know what I mean? Like, so that's the first thing. It's like, but here's the thing, man. If you, like you said, stay positive, Rob. Like, stay positive. Like, man, if you're not feeling positive, I ain't trying to tell you to pretend to be positive.
Right,
like,
yeah.
So if you're not feeling positive, like, you're literally not feeling positive, right? Like, if you could take a step back, you're not feeling positive about this fucking game. There's a simple solution. Don't play it.
The hobby.
Walk away from it. Like, it's not making, it's not making you happy.
Yeah.
Like, don't pretend to be happy. Like, it's not what I'm advocating for. Like, I'm just telling you that maybe you can access that happiness, you know, by following these simple guidelines.
Yeah. Everybody's path is different. Everybody's journey is different on this hobby. You know, some of us have been very fortunate to be in it as long as we have, and some folks aren't going to be in it as long, and that's fine. But just at the end of the day, like, the goal is, I feel like, is not to be as upset as I've seen a lot of people over the past week. And like, I don't know, like, try a different game. If you still want to stay in wargaming, try Shatterpoint, try MCP.
But let me take since we're doing this new segment. Let me take a little quick moment to talk about breaking Blood Angels news. Okay, we brought this Dreadnoughts. Okay, so since we've last talked, we've had a Blood Angels Legends. We're waiting on Legends because that's not indicated in the data cards. So it's still entirely possible every single one of my Dreadnoughts is unplayable, right?
True.
Though I'm gambling that it's not the case. I'm gambling on 12. I'm gambling on all specialty Dreadnoughts, which here's what I believe specialty Dreadnoughts are. And it seems like everyone has one. Base Space Marines have the old box knot in there still, even though that shit's retired. Fact.
Well, they said they would all get day one rules. Okay.
But that one is gone, period. That's what the article was about. Retired from the line, son. And they said, don't worry, you can still use it to represent other things in the game. And they used Stern Guard as their example. And then they went on to say, but don't worry, guys, your specialty Dreadnoughts aren't going anywhere either. All right? So if we take GW, and then the next section of that article is what Legends are. Okay? Mm-hmm. And that goes into a different breakdown. So if you take it at face value, they're saying specialty Dreadnoughts are still in the game. They said Venerable Dreadnoughts, for example, Librarian Dreadnoughts, everything. So in the Space Marine set of data sheets, you have the Box Dreadnought, which is retired from the line, but you also have the Ironclad Dreadnought, which is a specialty Dreadnought, right? Go to Blood Angels. They have their Furioso, Death Company, and Librarian. Go to Space Wolves. They've got the Venerable Space Wolf Dreadnought. They've got the Wolfen Dreadnought. They've got Murder Fang and Bjorn Felmhand. You see? So there's a whole suite of these special Dreadnoughts, which we take them at face value, they're still legal. So it looks like, because there's no Venerable Dreadnought in the main book, I can only do 12 Dreadnoughts. That's fine. Now, here's an update on my Blood Angel situation. I've been waiting to see what to do for underslung weapons and like what the Librarian Dreadnought's going to count as. So he's not a character. So I can't do only Dreads, Rob. That's the problem. That's a big concern. Can't do only Dreads because they're not characters. So I need a character slot. But here's the interesting thing. Did you see the Wings of Sanguinius?
Dude, there's so much to digest.
Do you remember what the Wings of Sanguinius have been for a long time?
Yeah, it lets you fly.
Lets you jump around, right? Dreadnought jumping around pretty tight. Well, the only thing that has the Wings of Sanguinius on the sheet is a Librarian Dreadnought. Which makes me...
That's interesting.
Which is like, that's his thing. And it's not flight. It's not flight. It's fucking... It's the jump from the orcs, dude.
Oh, so
he can pick an infantry unit, don't roll a 1, and he can pick them up and put them down again 90 feet from the enemy. Only once. Only one guy can do it.
The Grey Knights have a lot of that too.
Like, I would have loved them to be just jump pack Dreadnoughts, but bro, the tactical applications of this brand new ability for Blood Angels.
Dude, it's like, hello, here I am. That's pretty dope.
So I'm thinking Centurions. Assault Centurions are toughness 7, 4 wounds, and they still slap. And I have them, and I love them, and they only move 4 inches, and they're OC2. So,
Right.
dog, I can just go like, yo, you thickies. Wow.
You
9 inches
thickies.
from the bad guy, put him in a forest, say, yo, armor contempt strategy on them, deal with this. And they look like little dreadnoughts. Like Assault
They
Centurions.
do. They're adorable. They're
Right?
like on stilts and shit.
Right? And so then I'm thinking, do you guys see the Sanguinor? He
What's
doesn't
he do now?
he has like this ability that if you put him in the drop in the skies for reserves, right? Drop, G-strike, whatever.
Yeah. Makes sense.
If somebody, like when the enemy charges you at any point in the game, if he's still up in the skies, you can just put him in engagement range.
He kind of intercepts them?
Yeah, he just shows up in close combat. And he has fights first, meaning he's going to slap first because I'm the defender. It's your turn. You're the one who charged.
I like it.
So, he's like not a real person either, right? He's like doesn't exist. He's like a spirit,
Yeah.
So like
That's
I'm like
pretty cool.
that's a great HQ choice because he's like not actually there. Like they're like it's like
Mm-hmm.
the manifestation of fucking Blood Angels BDE. So I'm gonna get his ass. I haven't painted I've painted like 13 Sanguinors, dog, in my life.
Yeah, I've had one of them.
They're awful. They're terrible. But I need one. And so I asked on Twitch the other day if anyone in my fucking chat had one. And someone sent me a link to a store to buy one. It's like, no. I'm not buying this model with my own money, my own 2023 economic power. No, that's a bad deal. This is a shitty model. It's fine cast resin. If somebody definitely has one in a drawer still, I want that. And then somebody, I think it was Karen Clover, posted up a whip of something they were working on. And then in the background is just fucking jammed in frame as a fucking Sanguinar in a box. So he's sending me one. So
How tight would it be to get like a dope 3D print of it?
That would be dope. And I thought about
Like
that.
a Primera scale?
But I kind of want it to be I kind of want him to be stupid looking. Kind of goes with the theme of my, I'm running all box dreads, So I kind of want that,
Mm-hmm.
But that's my update, guys. That's currently where we're at. Sanguinor, Assault Centurions, and 12 Dreadnoughts is the dream right now. That'd be the whole army if possible. If the points ride.
I think it'd be dope. Well, I guess we'll know soon enough.
Oh, he's also a lone operator. So that's
Of course
that's
he
pretty
is.
cool. It's a good rule. A lot of people are worried about that rule.
I think that's one of the biggest changes to 10th is the characters / lone operators.
Yeah, but then they don't all have it. Only some of them do.
I know.
And
I know.
Demon Princes don't have it. I wonder why.
They do not.
I wonder why. I was talking to one of my friends the other day, and they were like, "Yeah, this lone operator rule's gonna be a problem." I was like, "Trust me, it's not. The Demon Princes won't have them and shit, dude. The things you're really worried about aren't gonna have it." Remember that one time I brought 8 of them LVO?
Only 8?
It was 7 Demon Princes in Armon and 40 Nurgling bases.
Yeah, it was there's been some wild shit, like the Fire Raptor incident, the Chaplain Dreadnought incident, the Nurgle Demon Prince incident, because you can take 9 of them.
Yeah. So you so you can take 6, it looks like right now, because
It does look like
but they don't have lone operator, guys.
Nope.
They are standing out there with their dicks hanging out there, dude. They are gonna need to hide behind things.
Which isn't going to be hard to do, I don't think.
But I mean, it's just like Dreadnoughts, dog. They're just if you just look at them as a unit that you have access to, that it's gonna need to move around the battlefield to accomplish tasks. They're fine.
Yeah.
So just felt like I'd put down something that I was interested in Blood Angels, let you guys know where I'm at in the project. 12 Dreadnoughts in the bank. Wait, they're not on their bases yet. They're not glued because I'm still waiting. If the Legends list comes out, they're getting transferred to my alternate base, which makes them Redemptors. So
The bigger base.
yeah, my special top secret 3D printed base.
I want to see this.
90 millimeters with the corpse of a Redemptor Dreadnought on it. So it's like my young blood, like just got ganked. He's laying there, and the OG just standing on the corpse, handling business. But anyway, guys,
I have awoken.
so that's the end of our news section. Like I said at the beginning of the show, it's going to be wild. So we'll end it there, and then we're going to talk to Wyatt in just a few seconds about these point drops.
Future Wyatt.
Future Wyatt.
Do we
It's a
host
good tale.
somebody?
It's a good tale.
Yeah, I think so. Are we gonna host somebody on Twitch?
Yeah, we'll do our thing.
Okay.
How's our
We're gonna
janky
be
shit,
early.
guys? I'll jam some shit into it tomorrow.
Yeah, thanks for hanging in there with us. I don't know. I think I like how they're doing it. I like how they're spreading it out, making more hype. I don't like everything else. But it's whatever.
Dog, if nobody was acting like a sea captain on the internet right now,
Yeah, but that's the internet. That's all people know to do right now. I feel like sometimes.
the thing is, I don't blame them. The first thing I do when something happens is I look to see how it directly affects me. And if it doesn't make me happy, then I have to check myself right then.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And there's been a lot of times in my life where I thought everyone in the world felt exactly how I felt about this thing right now. And after a few times being proved wrong on that, like, I was like, oh, okay, maybe like how I feel right now is just like how I feel right now. And it's not the most important thing in the world. But if you find yourself somewhere in a masturbation cocoon, maybe like you were led there by the internet curation system. Maybe you found your people. Maybe you were kicked out of a couple places. Who knows why you ended up in this masturbation cocoon? But if you're all thinking the same way, then it's much easier to think everyone thinks like you do. Or at the very least, people who don't are fucking stupid or something. I relate to every one of you guys, man. Like, all I care about right now is Blood Angels, dude. I don't give a fuck about all your bullshit. I don't care about these Necrons.
I mean, I'm gonna look up what I'm gonna look up when it's time to look it up.
Yes.
Because
Oh my
I just
God,
don't
Rob.
care until then. I don't have the bandwidth.
That is genius, Rob. I'm going to look it up when it's time to look it, when I need to look the shit up.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm hobbying on some Shower Point, man. I'll play some Imperial Knights. I'll play some Custodies. Maybe some Guard. Like, I'll look at it next week.
Rob, you're a fucking genius. Wise ass simple words right there, man. Like, so anybody, I think some people asked, we're not going to stream the podcast tomorrow, guys. Me and Wyatt are going to get together and record the meat and potatoes and slot it in. And then distribution of the podcast will be later on in Friday, maybe Saturday morning, based on Rob's schedule. Because he's a busy man and he might not be able to slot it until Saturday morning.
Yeah, I'm not trying to wake up to like 8, 9 o'clock on Saturday. I'm sleeping in. I'm getting an 8-hour sleep.
That's so fucked up.
Yeah, I'm worth it though.
All right, here we are coming to you from the future. Having just downloaded this, read through some of the article. Wyatt, what did you just say was a big deal?
Unit sizes are no longer add one. It's either minimum or maximum. So
Across the board?
Yeah, in most cases, it's either take 5 or you take 10. There's no more like add a single dude to optimize points or, I got like 30 points left over. Let me add one dude to a squad. It's, if you're taking something like Sternguard veterans, you only take 5 or you take 10. That's it.
I instantly was, I won't lie, I expected that. Because of the boxes.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wanted to confirm something. I just went to a Centaurian squad, big chunky models that you always kind of, don't usually take the quite minimum or the maximum. And sure enough, they're 3 or 6.
Yep.
So yeah, even that reflecting their box size.
That makes sense. to OG players like us, it could seem like I don't like that because I want to be able to
what optimize what for,
but for a new player, like if you're buying stuff off the shelf, you're like, well, Blade Guard come in a box of 3. So that's like a squad ready to hit the table.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want more, it's like, well, it's 2 boxes because you get 6.
No, actually, I totally buy their explanation, in the article for that. Like, this does not bother me at all. And so, speaking of which, has anyone already compiled in this short window any point change?
Oh, like a differences?
Yeah.
Maybe. I haven't really looked for it. We can already see some stuff is very similar, like the like assault intercessors, 90 points, intercessor models 95 instead of 90, so like 5 dudes went up by 5 points. The Stern Guard veterans that we were talking about during tactics the other day, they're 105, if I remember right. Yeah, 105 for 5 instead of 100. So some stuff has changed. You'll have to look at things. Pick out which units you want to run.
Sorry, I just put my list up. It was like Centaurian Assault Squad is actually down 5 points.
Oh, that's nice. Good for you.
And so then in the article they also said like weapons are included.
Yeah, so you just do whatever you want with war gear because
you do whatever you want with war gear. Let's see. I knew that was I knew it because the boxes have the stuff in it already, and they already changed the points like 3 times toward the end of fucking 9th edition. And then this whole like, hey, here's the new balance status sheet, and all the shit's free. I was like, bro, that might actually just be how it goes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean, like, I think that's another good thing is that you're not weighed down.
Bro, you know how hard it is? Do you know how hard it is to accidentally fucking have the wrong points on your roster now?
It's going to be so much easier to slot list builds just because stuff is a points cost no matter what.
I just saw something in the middle of the chart while just glancing that is a little disturbing. The box dreadnought, 160 points.
That's
yikes. That's disappointing for me.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of things where people have been talking like, oh, well, Gladiator, 155, but a Fire Prism, the 125, which seems a little too spicy.
GW just throwing some points out there to see what happens. So the Ironclad Dreadnought was 135. Now they're saying he's 150. So that means, according to they're really over. Oh, it's because all the weapons are free. That's right. So the box Dreadnought includes literally any configuration of weapons.
Yeah.
So I mean, last cannons and shit, like
obviously Dreadnought's 225, dog.
Yep. This tracks. Just like scanning through points. Attack bikes in here. Yep. Same points, 55. Bike squad looking cheap, 80. I'm just looking at some of the classics, you know what I'm saying? Like our land speeders. Basic land speeder, 80. So one back up in points, but also includes the weapon configuration. So that means that they've reassessed the value of certain weapons.
I'm seeing a lot of stuff that I like, especially with things like Ultramarines. There was a number of things that I wanted to do for a lot of these lists. So something like Scout Snipers being 75 to 150 makes me happy. Sergeant Talion only being 70 points makes me happy.
Bro, here's something interesting. Inceptors. So what was the big scandal when they did the balance that shit? Was the free Hellblasters or the free plasma pistol things?
Yeah.
And then everyone bought 18 of them and they're like, no, they're not free. Well, they're free again. It's just that they are not as good as they were.
Yeah.
Because a bunch of strength 8 weapons with that do 2 damage are not the end all be all of fucking 40k right anymore. Because that just bounces off of tanks. There's winning tanks on 5s. So that's interesting. Like they were like, it's fine. Oh wait, it's not fine until the edition drops. So that's actually interesting.
We're also seeing point cost differences between factions. Like the Land Raider for Space Marines is 275, but the Land Raider for Chaos is 255. And
Why's that?
I mean, I can see it because their weapon profiles and stat lines are basically the same, but the Space Marine Land Raider has Oath of Moment, whereas the World Eater's Land Raider does not.
Oh, so it can literally reroll everything, and they're okay.
Yeah, 275 is, I mean, like Land Raider's been 275 for a very long time, so that's pretty bog standard. But now at 275, that Land Raider has the ass to warrant a 275 point cost, whereas before it was kind of a brick of shit. It wasn't all that great.
Holy shit, a Death Company Dreadnought is 195.
Oof.
Oh my god. What madness is this? It's almost like you guys knew I was trying to do 12 Dreadnoughts and you said, suck my dick. You don't get
tracking all your purchases.
They are, dude. I changed the world economy. That's an insane point toss, considering a fucking, how much is a Brutalis Dreadnought?
Let's see. CB. I like how everything is alphabetized. That's nice. 170 for, well, it's a ballistas.
No, the Brutalis is 220.
220, yeah.
220. So, yeah, like it's a little strange. So 195, but did you see that fucking reprisal rule that Death Company Dreadnoughts get?
I haven't looked at Blood Angels.
It has this rule where it says like fearsome reprisal, where anytime an attack is directed to the Dreadnought, it's like anytime or like every time. It's like each time. The fucking Dreadnought gets to like make an attack, like, or like gets to like activate as if it were its shooting phase or as if it were its fight phase.
Oh.
And it's like, wait a minute. So that means like if you charged me, like I'm going to hit you anyway, right? But like, let's say you hit me with 2 units, right? Like, so you fight with the first one. Oh, reprisal's been activated. I instantly get to fucking fight. And so I basically get a free interrupt before the other unit, right? Or let's say I fucking consolidate after charging, wiping a unit, and I consolidate into a new unit. And then you fucking swing at me. I fucking have activated reprisal. It'll say I'm in combat with a unit and you shoot a last cannon over at me. Boom, activate reprisal. So like it has this like fight, and technically you could like shoot me, activate reprisal. Then a different unit shoots me, activate reprisals. You know what I mean? Like I could technically keep doing it. But he only can like shoot a flame or fight something he's touching. So it's not like he doesn't have quality bullets. You know what I mean? So, so 195, I'm actually like, I was like, did they mean the rule to be like potentially that baller? Yeah. Okay. 195 tracks. Interesting. They're making me pay for my Dreadnoughts, Wyatt.
Yep.
It's going to be hard.
Like, kind of quickly compiling a list real quick.
Yeah.
It's nice that I can just kind of have a calculator and just look at this and just be like this, and this. I don't have to like reference tables and stuff. Because I think I can do everything I want to do and have a pretty solid amount of points left over.
We're both looking at our lists.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, what's wild is I'm taking like 700 something points in character models. But yeah, because so like the 3 basic things that I want is certain characters. So I want Gilman, I want Marnius, I want Uriel Ventress, I want Telion. and I want a basic LT just to start, right? And then I want a max squad of Blade Guard, Scout Snipers, and Desolators, and I want a Land Raider. And if I plugged everything in correctly, it's 1670 to do that. And then you're going to want, what is it called? Bolter Disciplines. That's an extra 25 on your generic character. So 1695. So that's about 300 points of other stuff I can do. And depending on, what kind of mission types we're going to run into, that is going to depend on what I want to run. So I could spec into more infantry. I could take something big like the Repulsor Executioner, maybe a Dreadnought or two. We'll have to kind of see. But I can kind of do what I want to do with those three combos, which feels nice.
Yeah. I can't. I am at 2,085 points for my 12 Dreadnought list right now. So, so the dream of 12 Dreadnoughts has died in this moment, guys. It can't be done at 2,000 points because I can't. I still have to do a leader anyway because Librarian Dreadnought doesn't have leader. So, gonna have to go down to 11 Dreadnoughts. My life is
here's where we run into it. So I'm like, let me add 2 tanks, 2,005 points. And now we're in a position where I can't drop a piece of war gear off of somebody. I can't drop one dude or anything. I'm gonna have to rethink exactly how I want this list to come together because there's no shaving that 5 points off anymore.
There's not. Yeah.
If I could drop one Scout Sniper and just be like, this is my list, I would do that in a heartbeat, but now I can't.
Yeah, that's always the issue. The more they simplify list points, the more that has become our issue. We even complained a little bit about that in 9th edition as they started simplifying and broadening versus 8th and 7th. So now it's going to be, you're going to see it even more. You're going to see huge chunks. Let's see here. Sanguinor. I have chosen him as my leader. How many points did he end up at? 160. See, that's reasonable. He makes sense at 160, but if you're a Dreadnought at 165, it does not make sense.
Yeah.
So GW, you get your points off of the Dreadnoughts. I'm gonna definitely. This is the podcast recording right now. GW, you fucked up on the Dreadnought points. You can't make a Death Company Dreadnought 195 and a Brutalis 220. One of them is better than the other by way more than that point difference. You can't, dude. Come on, man. Librarian Dreadnought 185. He doesn't do anything. He has the jump, that 1 second power, and only one of them can do it. Dog, 185. These guys don't slap. I don't know if you're aware of that, GW. They do not slap. Maybe you bought my hype. Maybe you fell for it, guys. It's not that good. This whole 12 Dreadnought list, it doesn't slap, dude. It's a gag. It's been a bit the whole time.
So, the triple Land Raider list we were talking about?
Yeah.
For World. Yeah, I can totally do it. So
I'm so proud of you, dude. And I'm so happy for you that you can do
it. Take
Angron,
3 Land Raiders, and then you take Karn because, as a World Eater
contractually obligated to run them at all times.
Yep. And then 3 10-man squads of Khorne Berserkers is 1965. Now, cool that I can fit all that in there. Not so cool that you are straight up just you cannot run anything else. You are stuck in 1965 for that army.
Chaos, can you take Chaos Spawn or something?
Let me see. Where's Chaos Spawn? No, there's 65 points for 2 models.
You sons of bitches.
Yeah. Before, I could shave 1 dude off of all those squads, or I could have 8-man squads to be fluffy or whatever, and then add something else in. But no, it's I'd have to drop a Land Raider completely just to have flexibility.
Yes, I feel you. I think I'm about to experience the same thing with my list. So I have to drop 2 librarian dreadnoughts. So I'm down to 10 dreads. Okay. And then I put sanguinaire in. I'm at 1875. And the dream, if the points didn't change much, was I also had points for Centurions, but the points did massively change. So I don't. And I'm feeling you on that because I have 125 points to do something with here. And I really wanted to take advantage of the new second power. So I wanted a cool infantry unit that could take advantage of that. 125. So I don't think a lot of things that fuck at 125 are going to take advantage of that. Do you?
I don't know.
Like what?
The Lord of Skulls is back down to 420. So that's exciting.
Oh my God. You know what? I completely forgot. We got to look at what Mortarion costs.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I haven't even paid attention to Death Guard.
Yep. Mortarion. 370. How the fuck are you going to make that motherfucker 370 in a fucking, but you're going to make a fucking Death Guard at 195? Okay, Death Guard players, stop crying right now.
That's spicy.
Stop the wine train right now. That dude is a good pro. That's a good point.
Rhinos. That's nice. Yep. What else we got? Fetid Blowtron 135. That's a solid point cost. You can take Predator Annihilators for 130. God damn.
Blightlord, yes. Blightlord Terminator is 175 for 5, 350 for 10, including all weapon configurations.
Solid. Plague Burst Crawler 175. That's a good point cost.
Yep. I mean, that includes the weapons, and it's a little overpointed to like what we had gotten used to.
Yeah.
But it includes like, your optimum weapon loadout. And it looks like the Plague Spewers are optimized now.
Blight Haulers are pretty good at 115.
Oh, that is a pretty decent porch. That is decent.
Death Shroud 140 for 3 of them.
That's so funny because they can actually do the points different now. So like a single Death Shroud is 46.6 points. So they're 46 points a guy basically. Let's see what Plague Marine. Oh, Plague Marine squad. So Plague Marine is 100 points for 5. What were they before? They're like 115 for 5 or some shit, weren't they?
I'd have to look it up since I haven't played Death Guard in a good while.
But anyway, so I mean, like, so weapons are free. So the super Plague Marine squads are alive. That everyone got like fucking hooked on. So you could take
5 from 4.
They were 95 before, so they went up slightly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, all your war gear is free.
Yeah, so you can still run those like these 200 point. You can run a 200 point 10-man squad of Plague Marines loaded to the gills.
Yeah, that's
loaded to the fucking gills. So like
now your rhinos are actually tough and can like get them to where they want to go. So an 80-point rhino tax for a 10-man squad of Plague Marines.
Did the capacity on the rhino go up by any chance? Because that was always the problem was now that you can attach characters and shit, like you go to 11 man or you're either 6.
I don't believe so.
Yeah, so that's kind of an oversight. You're either 6 man or you're either fucking 11 man. So
what I mean, like that brings in the Land Raider, right?
I mean, yes,
250. So theirs is even cheaper.
Theirs is even cheaper.
250 for a Land Raider. Ooh, that's nice. That is nice.
But honestly, they did just fine with a lot of walking around units too. You didn't necessarily need a shitload of rhinos.
Yeah.
But still, like, so the Plague Marine spam. So people who like bought into Plague Marine spam toward the end of 9th edition, I mean, I think you guys are like kind of OP out the gate, guys. To my Plague Marine community. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like you guys are going to be first to market.
They have such a solid, like, Plague Marines are such a solid utility, like, battle line unit. Especially going into this edition. Like, I think if you have a good grip of Plague Marines, now you have the flexibility of putting them in transports because transports are actually worth their points cost. Some are even like under point costed to be a good deal. Having Mortarion under 400 points
Oh my god,
man, that's
so good.
Ooh,
He fucks so hard. 2-up save and everything. So okay, now I'm going to something else spicy. He's going to Space Wolves. So GW is doing this thing where they're making Dreadnoughts bad again. So I'm gonna have to go back on that Make Dreadnoughts Good campaign again. Fucking Bjorn Fellhand 220. You stupids. GW, why do you do this to me? I feel like you're targeting me. I feel targeted. Am I crazy in saying that?
A personal attack.
I feel like this is a personal attack. I make this whole, like, I do all these campaigns about, my birthday and I want all these dreadnoughts and I fucking make all these reels that get all these views on Instagram and everyone's hype. There were so many people commenting me on how fucking they had the same experience as me growing up with fucking dreadnoughts being so important to them. And I go out and make all these dreadnoughts. I admittedly crashed Amazon economy for dreadnoughts, but come on, man, 220 for Bjorn? Brutalis Dreadnought. Come on, man. Okay, but anyway. Let's see. 10 blood claws. Which does anyone even take blood claws?
Nah, I mean, maybe now. Like, it's going to be a new paradigm because of how we're going to have to like factor in points efficiency for unit costs.
So let's go take a look at the thing everyone's been worried about, right? Everyone's worried about their Wolfen, right? So Wolfen are 100 points.
100 points for 5.
200 for 10. They're like literally the same points as like fucking like intercessors practically.
Yeah. Except they move 8. They have a built-in feel no pain. They have way more attacks.
Yeah.
And they have does their storm shield give them an invul save?
Yeah, they have 4 invul, man.
Man, that's really fucking good for 100 points, I'd say. Sure, they only do 1 damage, but they're gonna punch down on most infantry because they're strength 5. They do have AP.
Yeah, they're fucking 100 points, dude. The thing is, and also we did talk about the podcast yesterday, in the past part of the podcast, that GW is listening right now. So the time to whine is now. So there's only so much accuracy and balancing they can do with their brain trust before we actually start that mass play testing. So
yeah.
like with the vastness of the community, we should be able to fucking get this even closer.
Like off the top of my head, I am pretty sure that the Wolfen weapon, strength 5 -1 damage. I think the Khorne Berserker weapon is also strength 5 -1.
Yeah, that's actually kind of how everything's going. That's the heirloom weapon treatment. That's the cursed weapon treatment. But I do acknowledge that that the hammer, it still says hammer because they know that you still model your guys with hammers.
Because you wanted a Thunderhammer profile.
Right. But that's also how you get the Storm Shield though too. Right. So if you want the Storm Shield, it's free. The hammer Storm Shield is the same points. But you get less attacks. Like I think it's 2 less attacks, right? It's like 4 attacks instead of.
I think they have 4 attacks. Well, so the point I was going to make is I'm pretty sure a Khorne Berserker also has 4 attacks. And then you get an extra one if you make a charge, right? So if you were to directly compare them, they're both multi-wound power armor Space Marine models, right? Except the Wolfen move 8 inches. They both have 4 attacks, strength 5 -1 damage. But the Wolfen have a 4-up invul save because of their shield. And they have a built-in feel no pain rule. And they're 100 points. Khorne Berserkers are 115 for 5.
Yeah, that's a great comparison. Let's go a little deeper on that. I'm actually going to pull up the Wolfen chart right now. Just so we can make this, because this has been something that like is near and dear to a lot of people. And I make fun of some people over things, but that's mainly a bit. I don't mean to make fun of anybody because I understand how important this hobby is to everyone. And so and I won't lie, as much as a joke I make about it, I think, okay, here it is. I think the Wolfen Hammer being 1 damage is possibly a mistake. No, I'm not saying it like the typo. I'm just saying that might be wrong, guys. So here we go. The Wolfen are only issue here is their objective secure. They're OC 0, dude. So if the motherfucker is going to be OC 0 and look a lot like Khorne Berserkers on paper, that's kind of a concern. And I don't even see a thing in their profile that lets them become OC, like chaplain near them or anything like that. So you have a unit that literally can't hold objectives. Change the OC to 1. You know what I'm saying? Like a ravenous pack of Wolfen standing on objectives should counts. You know what I mean? It should count. Because even the Death Company says if a chaplain's near them, 12 inches away, they have OC. So that's kind of a mistake. You went a little too hard there. Wolf and Claws and Weapon. So they have 6 attacks, more attacks than you guys. Okay. So they're like,
we're just talking about like the hammer, because that's like the direct comparison.
Right. So the hammer is only 4.
Yeah. So a Khorne Berserker has 4 base attacks.
So
are Wolf in higher toughness? Are they T5?
They are T5. Yeah.
So they're a higher toughness than Khorne Berserkers too. So that's your trade-off, is these dudes are faster and tougher. And they hit about the same, but they're OC 0 instead of like a battle line unit, which is my mainstay troop.
You're OC 2, right?
Yeah. And so like I'm basically paying 15 points for that OC2, and I do not have the Feel No Pain or the Invul save that Wolfen can. Mm-hmm. And then Wolfen, what's their data sheet ability?
Instead of they fight in death, but on a 4-up now, which is the right way to do that rule.
So, and they have that, which Khorne Berserkers do not have. So I would say, like, because Space Marines have so much more access to efficient battle line units or efficient units that can have a OC value, things like infiltrators that can like scout move or start the game like in the no man's land on an objective. Paying 100 points for a missile unit like Wolfen is a fucking steal.
Oh, the points are right. What I'm saying is I acknowledge the weirdness of the data sheet that is a Wolfen hammer only being 1 damage and 4 attacks. And I acknowledge the weirdness of that. Like I would not be mad if it went to 2 damage, and especially if you consider 0 OC. And
well, here's another point.
That's it.
This is really important for anybody moving into 10th edition for making your list. This is a brand new faction spanning paradigm for 10th edition. And that is that we are moving into a world where unless a infantry melee unit is specifically given weapons that have an anti-vehicle keyword on them, like a chain fist, they are not meant to walk up and bonk big, tough mainline battle tanks and Night Titans and kill them. That is not their job. So the idea of losing the Thunderhammer profile for Wolfen, because what did everybody want Thunderhammers for? So you could walk up to a tank and bonk it and kill it.
Yeah, because you can make a Thunderhammer kind of like wound everything in the game out too. Right. Just smack it.
And that was one of our things, was like, it feels stupid that Sanguinary Guard with fucking rapier swords could walk up to a Night Titan and just poke it in the feet and kill it instantly. Right? That was fucking stupid. And it was feels bads because tanks and dreadnoughts and Titans and all that stuff was kind of doo-doo if it got the bad touch. Yeah. Well, across the board, the idea of, fast moving infantry killing mainline battle tanks with melee weapons is pretty much gone. Like,
it's gone now.
It's not a thing anymore.
No.
So you have to rethink what that tool in your toolkit is for. And Wolfen are not meant to run up and kill vehicles. They're meant to go kill other infantry, in which case they're pretty good at what they do.
Yeah. No, they are. They're decent. And like I said, I make one objective analysis. It's 0 OC. I think it's a slightly inappropriate trade-off to not have the weapon that have the other weapon be able to kill 2 wound models easier. But at 100 points, because everyone modeled them with hammers already, right? Like that's why I would prefer to have them with the other weapon now. So I'd actually just prefer them to have the fucking heirloom treatment than the 2 versions treatment. Honestly, just give Wolfen a 4-up invulnerable since you're including it in their profile. Don't give them 6 or 4 attacks. Give them 5 in between and just 4-up invulnerable, and it's all the 1 damage. Like, give them the heirloom treatment, because everyone modeled them with the fucking hammers, but would rather have the claws, I think, right now. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, because I think that's the smartest thing they've done is this heirloom concept.
And it's same thing for me and my factions, like World Eaters and stuff. Like, Khorne Berserkers are simply not what is supposed to be sent into melee with big, tough vehicle stuff. Like, if you want to punch vehicles, you need to have something like a melee dreadnought or a Mauler Fiend or a Greater Demon or something like that. That's like meant to go toe to toe with that kind of stuff. Khorne Berserkers are meant to blend infantry, and they excel at that job, which is why with these new point costs and the change in weapon and vehicle profiles and stuff like that, something like a Land Raider, really ubiquitous. Something like a Forge Fiend, all of a sudden its stat line is pretty solid. Angron, that's what I want to send. Oh, you have a Night Titan that's like pressuring me. I'm going to send Angron into that because that's his job.
Yep. God damn it, my fucking list is such doo-doo. That's not going to stop me from playing it, guys. The dream is still 10 dreadnoughts. I think I can get it. I think I can make 10. I think I can be happy with 10 dreadnoughts. But I'm trying to.
They're like toughness 10, right?
Yeah.
I think that's actually I think like a toughness 10 spam army is kind of going to be the same thing as like a toughness 8 spam army, where you are going to win more than you lose because most people will not have armies that can deal with every stat line in your army.
No, so dreadnoughts are T9, and the like a rhino, and the other dreadnought, the ironclad is he's toughness 10.
They all have 2 up saves though, right?
But they do have 2 up saves, and they all have and so the issue is I lost a lot of OC with my fucking because Death Company dreads are OC 0. So I was counting on something else. So like, damn, I'm shocked by the points on these dreadnoughts. I really like. But the thing is, I need to do it because like this is the first time you can do it.
Here's the thing: is what what I'm seeing with these points. Like, here's a really good example. In the basic Space Marine ones, is that a Ballistus dreadnought is 170, but the Brutalis dreadnought is 220.
Yeah.
So what are those two things? So a Ballistus is all guns.
You know, it's GW's continuous over-evaluation of close combat.
Well, I don't think it's an over-evaluation here because, like we just talked about, infantry don't really have the option of filling that role anymore. So what you want is the dreadnoughts to walk up and bonk tanks. And that power is now worth a lot more. Because the only way to deal with...
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Honestly, a lot of the guns are not as reliable as we want them to be.
Big guns or big fists, because infantry is not filling that role anymore. So for things like if you're playing Grey Knights and you want to be able to deal with high toughness stuff in melee, you need something like a Dreadnought or Dread Knight. Like that's what you need. If you're playing Space Marines and your battle strategy is to melee stuff, your Brutalis Dreadnought or your Redemptor Dreadnought with fists are going to cost more because those weapons are worth a lot more now. Like the economy is different.
You're not wrong. Let's see how much. I didn't even look. A Vanguard Veteran Squad with jump pack, because I have a lot of stock in that. So what are these assholes? So they're 130 for 5. What is that? It's going to be some weird math, right? 130 divided by 5, 26. That includes their storm shield. If you want to have a storm shield, what was I paying before? So 260. It's savings. It's a big time. It's big time. I think they went up to something insane, like they're over 300. So it's potentially 40 points cheaper, but they don't have lightning claws anymore. But they have nearly the same weapon type because it's the heirloom weapon. Mm-hmm. So instead of it just like re-rolling wounds and being less strength, it still had weak AP to begin with. And so they're not much.
You also have Oath of Moment too, so you can just Oath of Moment what you want to send them into, and then you get full hit and wound rerolls. Yeah.
So they seem good. I'm looking at things like I'm wondering if what Devastator's point cost, because Devastators was a pretty cool unit when they got free war gear that I was like, I just kind of held off.
They're 120 for 5.
Ooh, they're still ridiculous.
And here's something else. Grav weapons are anti-vehicle like 2 up.
I think that I might invest in a Devastator squad
I think that'd be a good choice.
because that's what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to do, but I was waiting to see if but I was waiting to see if they were like legends, if they're going to still have free war gear. And so I think a Devastator squad at 120 is.
Yeah. Especially with something like the bolter discipline enhancement on a generic character like a lieutenant or a apothecary to res a guy is going to give you that huge buff on him.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. I'm looking right now at the Devastator squad data sheet. Devastator squad. So let's just say exactly what you were saying. Grav cannon, anti-vehicle, 2+.
It's going to wound all vehicles in a 2-up, no matter what.
Damn. I mean, it went down in AP, which everything did, but it's still 3 fucking damage.
Yeah. And then bolter discipline is going to be an additional buff to that.
Bolter discipline?
Yeah. Let's see. Download the Space Marine. Enhancements. Okay, so bolter discipline. Well, the bear is leading a unit. Range weapons equipped by models in that unit have the sustained hits 1 ability, so exploding 6s. In addition, while the bear's unit is under the effects of the Devastator doctrine, each time a model in that unit makes a ranged attack, a successful unmodified hit roll of 5 up scores a critical hit. So you're going to have exploding 5s and 6s in the Devastator doctrine. And then you wound on a 2-up. So that is a huge increase.
God damn. And that's what they said. That was the lieutenant?
So it can be on any generic Adeptus Astartes character that can join a Devastator unit. So the thing is, like, you're going to have to look through all of the characters because I haven't looked through it enough to know exactly which characters can join which units. I know that a lieutenant can join Desolators or an apothecary can join Desolators. So I have to like kind of look through all the data sheets to see.
Well, it's armor with armor. So like none of the Primaris guys are joining fucking regular squad dudes, and none of the regular squad dudes are joining Primaris. So it's gonna have to be it's literally gonna be like a captain.
Well, okay. Yeah, you can put it on a captain. Like that's not thinking about captains, but a regular captain can do it too. So even if you don't have Oath of Moment, you're getting some rerolls, you're getting a free stratagem.
So actually, yeah, I think Devastator squads, they made the cut. I mean, like if they're not legend, which we're still waiting to see that. Obviously, in the what is that? What's that going to be? What book is that going to be in? It's not in the it's not in the field manual, apparently.
What was your question again?
Legends. When are we? What is the?
Probably
like,
GT book. Yeah.
You think it's going to be in the GT book or just I think it's just a digital archive. And it's just going to be a listicle. It doesn't need to be anything bigger than that. Because like. Are we going to still have Devastator Marines in competitive play when Desolators are obviously the replacement, So I think honestly, most Legends is, I think that GW's made a pretty clear stance. I'm like, it's not going to be as big of a deal as you think, guys. You can, like.
I'm looking through some of these characters and like none of them can join Devastators.
Oh, that's actually interesting. So like they kind of are like, hey, that thing you just said out loud, Wyatt? We're not. No, that's not what we want you to do.
They may have thought about this. Yeah. I mean, like you can do it with Desolators, which is a sick combo. Trying to find like the regular basic dude. I don't even think a basic lieutenant can do it. So it would come down to. Because the Primaris Apothecary can't join them. They can join Desolators.
Yeah. Yes. So like so these guys just kind of out there.
This is one of those reasons where I really don't like how these PDFs are laid out because I only want to look at characters and all of the characters are spread out throughout the PDF.
Yeah, even though we don't. So, guys, GW, we don't have a force organization chart anymore, which I'll commend you on. I like the fuck yeah. But like, can you just organize them like what we've been used to, which is characters like HQs, like elites, troops, like fast, heavy? Like, can you just put them in that order for us, like what we would think they were?
Yeah, that would be nice. So I almost want to say that a regular ass apothecary like no longer exists, but it might just be hidden somewhere in this PDF.
Yeah. Can you just control F it?
Yeah, I mean it's a better option, but it's not a great option because there's like if I just type in apothecary, I can spell it the way that they spell it. No.
Yeah. It's always hard for me to spell.
How do they spell it?
Say it with an E?
Let's see.
You can never spell this word.
So there's the Primaris one.
Okay. There we go. Primaris Apothecary.
He cannot join Devastators. See, because there's like 10 instances of the word apothecary on their data sheet. So I have to like click through all of them.
There's the Apothecary Biologist. What the fuck is that?
So I think the regular apothecary got relegated to the command squad. They don't have their own data sheet. So yeah, they probably thought about this because I don't think anybody can actually join a Devastator squad.
Kind of feeling that. That's what it looks like. So they also put out so like here, so we can't know all the points, but like, we're just looking at what's important to us and what we're thinking about in the market. Chaos Knights. This should be important. Let's take a look. Big Knight 395. 390. The Despoiler. Whoa, Knight Despoiler 410. Knight Rampager 395. The Tyrant 485. So let's take a look at War Dogs too. 150, 135, 140, 160, 135.
Well, see, here's the good news, Kenny, is a Desolation squad is the same points cost as a Devastator squad. So you can do the combo that everybody else wants to do, which is to have Bolter Discipline in a Desolation squad because they also have the super crack missiles. So you're not getting the spicy anti-vehicle 2-up, but you get like the crazy amount of indirect fire and the super crack missiles. That's an option.
Yeah, it is an option. So Furious and Dreadnought 165, but like every single fucking War Dog is cheaper. GW.
Will the War Dogs have a 2-up save, or do they not?
I don't think they do, but I think they have like way more wounds.
Interesting trade-offs.
But they're 150, 135, 140, 160, 135. As Chaos Knights people out there, how you feeling about a Despoiler class at 410?
In the Chaos Knight, that's like the basic chassis.
Yeah, that's the one that you can put all the options on, right?
Yeah.
Traditionally.
Okay.
That's your basic chat. Yeah, that's your Build-A-Bear guy.
That seems solid because like before they were pushing a lot higher than that because of the I forget what they're called, but all like the point cost upgrade stuff you could do to them and like the weapon option differences.
Yeah. They seem very Knight points to me. Like they said, like it seems about what I've been used to historically. So I don't see anything that's like red flaggy there. Like,
yeah, I mean like 410, right? You said 410.
Yeah.
410 for a basic Questoris Knight chassis with the way that towering works right now is, I'd say, really good. There's been some talk that a lot of TOs are going to want to change the way that towering works because towering is a little OP. Because basically, like you can't. It's that like towering right now has true line of sight to everything on the table. So you remember like in 8th edition when like everything had true line of sight all the time, no matter what. That's what towering has right now, and towering can benefit from cover. It's just that on the two pieces that have visibility stipulations, they are an exception to the visibility rules for being shot at. But towering is an exception. So if you and I are playing a game and I have like my Desolator Marines behind a ruin, I can't hide from you if that ruin has like windows and stuff, because a towering unit has true line of sight. And so TOs are talking about doing a band-aid fix to that unless towering gets its own FAQ, because it feels a little unfair that knights can just see everything all the time and also get cover bonuses.
Oh, so that's actually kind of a 180 from before. So like one of the things I hated was how people could shoot knights but knights couldn't shoot them. And now a knight can just shoot you as well. But
right. And the fix they're talking about is basically saying like this building has no windows.
Yeah, which is a very normal fix we've played with for so many years.
And so that feels bad for the knight player would then be gone because I can't see you, you can't see me because it's true line of sight. I'd have to like move to get true.
Yeah, neither of us can see each other.
Yeah. Or I mean, like people have talked about changing it to like a range thing where like if you're within 12 to 18 of a unit, you can have true line of sight, but otherwise not. So we'll have to see what happens there. But we were having this discussion the other day. It's just like if I was against that at the table and I'm like, so not only does your knight have cover, but I can't hide from it. That doesn't feel good. Like that seems too much.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't realize that. So they have they publish like their rules commentary too. And I'm just like keyword searching a couple things.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in that makes a lot of sense. It's just clarifying, the designer intent on a few things. Some stuff should have always been expected. Like, no, you can't reduce damage to zero, like unless it has a very specific thing that says that. And so like that's nice. It's kind of just like a rules glossary more than anything else that just sort of extrapolates on what they mean by certain words. So that's nice to have and just read into that.
Yeah. It's very thought out. Like there's so much in it actually. Automatically successful. For rolls automatically successful, do not roll the dice. I'm wondering what it's going to say about the result there. Hit, automatically successful, move straight to the one. I'm just wondering, since it's a critical hit, or I'm just saying if there's like because right now it's like always been like a weird thing attached to this. That's my alarm to remind me to talk to you. Some of this is for dummies. Base. Models mounted on a base. Base is always considered to be part of the model. Nice. A little charge diagram in here. Damn, this is a lot of information to look through today. Well, we can't look through it all because it's impossible. We just started looking at this stuff. On a personal note, I think dreadnoughts are too expensive. But I could be biased because I have 12 dreadnoughts. Acknowledge that. What do you? What's your personal note of this all? Like, what's your gut feeling about stuff?
Right now, I feel pretty good about the factions that I'm playing. I haven't taken time to really look into popular factions that I would be facing across the table just yet, but I have seen a handful of comments about stuff like the Fire Prism being 125, and Fire Prisms have a really, really good gun profile on them. We can look at some other stuff just like super quick. Like I was going to look at some of the Tau things like Crisis Battlesuits, because Crisis Battlesuits got a huge change. So they're 195 for 3 models. With all their gun attachments.
65 points a guy.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, like, I think a lot remains to be seen until further discussion gets talked about. Like, we actually start seeing lists being put together. So we'll have to see. Like, right now, I feel pretty good about Space Marines. I think most of this stuff seems pretty fair.
I mean, this is that moment, right? It's gonna be the Wild West. It's impossible for the rules team to assign the correct points to everything right now. It's all on paper. This is all mental math right now. You can't have played at all. So we're gonna go out there and we're gonna find out what's the problem, and then they're going to be able to change points. So, yeah, my gut tells me some of the things like you just said are accurate, but go nuts, spam the dope shit, see what happens. They'll give us points. This is the best time. We were talking about this in the podcast in the past version of us, is that like right now, moving into this edition is how the easiest way for you to stay on top of new rules. If you came into the edition toward the end of the life cycle, it's an overwhelming amount of information to get caught up on. And right now, though, it's all 0. We're all 0. And then everything's either +1 or -1 from here on out. So jump in, get your shit going, stay on top of your rules. That's all you have to care about. I'm not telling you to memorize Eldar rules if you play Blood Angels. Keep up with your FAQs. Keep up with what's going on with your shit. It's actually going to be pretty easy from here on out. Just keep your momentum. So I'm beyond excited, even though I got hit with some bad news today, 12 Dreadnoughts. But, all good. All good. I got 212 hours of entertainment value out of my total 12 Dreadnoughts. So if I can't play them all, oh well. And you get to do Tri-Lane Raider. I was telling you, man, I'm thinking Tri-Lane Raider too. I'm not going to lie.
It'd be cool. I can also run 2 Lord of Skulls with Angron and have like a full army behind it. That feels pretty tight for world leaders.
That's like the old days, dude. You should do that.
Yeah. Especially like Lord of Skulls has a rule that lets you add or subtract from the Blessing of Corn dice if you kill a unit. So like for every unit the Lord of Skulls kills in the previous turn, you can add or subtract 1 to a single dice in the pool to kind of like get the results that you might want.
Oh, nice. That's actually
so if you have 2 of them, like that's cool. And then also if your Corn Berserkers have a banner, which you would always have a banner because it's free. Why would you not? If they're on an objective, for every one of those holding an objective, you get to re-roll 1 of the dice in the pool as well. So you can re-roll the dice and then also add or subtract from any results using the Lord of the Skulls rule.
That's pretty fucking cool. Yo, you should do it. I mean, you've been a Lord of Skulls kind of guy. Lone Star Open. July 22nd.
Looking forward to it.
Oh my God. What am I going to do? This is the hype time. I'm glad we connected this morning to do our future versions, meeting up with our past versions. Me and Rob, we went off on a whole thing.
Oh yeah.
But we just saw it's a bit like a giant X-Men issue of this fucking podcast tonight. So points all over the place. Wild West, double Lord of Skulls, Angron lists, 1 billion fire prisms. Actually, just 3, right?
Yeah.
3 fire prisms.
That's another big thing that we didn't really talk about is that squadroning is largely done in a lot of instances.
Yeah. I actually saw that. Yeah, actually, that's a good read. Well, fuck it. That's the best we can do with the 1 hour window of this moment. So, hey guys, if you listen to this podcast on your way to a soccer game this weekend, because it's not Friday. Oh yeah, hold on. I gotta pull up Robot Rob.
Oh, yeah.
I think we covered it all, Wyatt. You know, we're doing our pro. He doesn't know how janky this is, but so Wyatt, you want to take us out of here?
Rob?
So that's it for this one. Be sure to head on over to thelongwar.net for exclusive content, early access videos, and more. Become a veteran of the Long War today.